What's up, guys? Ground pounder outed me about my saw, so now I just have to be free with it. I've been being cyberbullied ever since he made his video. There's meme pages dedicated to me, so you just gotta deal with it. What's up, Thomas? Oh, right on, Kellen. What's up? Good to see everybody. Yeah, I'm just trying to slap a quick edge onto this and get this saw kind of ready because it doesn't get used very much. And every time I ask, like, how's the saw? Is it sharp? Because I never use it. It's the ground guy saw. Lay down now. I always get told, oh, it's still good. It's sharp. And I guess I finally decided to not just take their word. And I checked it, and it is so incredibly dull. It's insane. So put a quick edge on it. I had to. Here's something that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to reasons to make sure that your saw is always sharp. So my 150, the next video that I put out for you guys, you'll see it big time. I think these saws come dull though, so you know that's just husky for you. But they when you have a dull saw, you're not making chips, you're making powder. So if your saw is working properly, that powder is getting into your clutch cover, it's getting into your bar grooves, it's getting into the oiler hole, you know, working its way in. So with the oil combination of that powdery sawdust, it like makes a paste, and it gums the saw up so quick, and you can burn your clutch up. um, you'll start to feel like your saw is just always in a bind, almost like it's running at like half power because it won't wind itself out. But that's mainly, a lot of times I always notice, because I mean I use the same gas always, same mix, same everything, and I don't ever stray from it. But yeah, my 150 was really, like, really bogging, really weak. So I took it apart and stuff, and then realized, man, like, I had hit something metal at some point, and then wasn't I didn't think I did enough to make it dull, so I just kept using it, and it was so gummed up. There was so much like stuff trapped in the groove of the bar. So if that stuff's in there, it's not moving. You should be able to take air and like run it down your bar and then hit up at the sprocket, and the sprocket should just spin freely. So if not, you got a bunch of stuff, you know, gummed back up in here from where you clean it. So I always try to like hit that area where the sprocket gets to running freely. But inside here was so caked. All the channel was caked. And it gets like that, not because anything's wrong, because the saw's working right. All the stuff that's in here is being oiled. So that little bit of fine sawdust mixed with that stuff, it makes a nasty paste, just gums everything. Dan, Billy, what's going on, guys? Yeah, ground pounder. They're, I'm telling you, I think when you go to buy a Husqvarna brand new, it comes with, all of them come with a safety chain, um, a Phillips screwdriver, and a dull. The chain's actually been used, so they try it for you and they dull it. Got a piece of metal. So I don't really have a topic for today. What do you guys want to talk about? You tell me what you want to talk about. That's the way we're gonna do this. Anybody see a new video? Anybody run into some kind of issue or problem at work this week. Um, there's something personal, more on a personal level you want to know about me. Is there a technique you want to discuss? I mean, I don't really care. But like I said, I had a bunch of stuff going on and not really prepared for the live. Usually I have some kind of an idea, but oh, right on, Round Pounder. I try. Full of good information, sometimes just shit. But if I was serious all the time, I would probably be, I wouldn't watch me. I'll tell you that. Because I have a very dry sense of humor. And, and I forget to smile and acknowledge that things are a joke sometimes. So. I bought a new 261 earlier this year and it came with a green. Isn't that wild? I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Um, I see all the time where people say, oh, you got to buy this specific chain and this and that, and I'll be the first to tell you, you guys see how much like work I do with that 150. That is a 1/4 inch Pico chain, and that is a green chain. Here's a safety chain. As long as you keep them incredibly sharp, they'll work. But it's just, what's weird about them is I don't feel like you don't have to knock the dogs down like you do like the guides. You don't have to knock them down as you sharpen. I feel like they're at a permanent setting, and the tooth doesn't lean back like a regular, like professional chain would or aggressive. So, okay, let me see what everybody said. Did you give that chain back? What chain? What's your thoughts on the clone saws? Well, that's a good question. If I'm like being honest, I really can't say that I have too much of an opinion. Um, I've not used them, but I would think for a person who has a fair amount of like small engine knowledge, if they know enough about small engines, and they know, you can, the things that you need to do to keep a saw running right and what makes a saw run right, like going over them saws sometimes before you ever use them is a good idea, because they'll like, things will be loose, like this silly thing. So, because they're not that concerned with quality product, they're more production. So if a person has a little bit of knowledge when it comes to those, and they want to, it would even be a good idea to get one and take it to a small engine guy and say, hey, go over this. um, a lot of times they come with your dogs, your guides here, the teeth. They come with none or junk ones, so maybe get you a good set of those. A lot of times the bars are really bad. A good bar, and then maybe even a muffler that you want to throw onto one or something, and bring it in with parts, and just have your small engine guy go over it. But the reason that they're there, I mean, they're going to be very similar, except for they're going to be probably a bit outdated. They'll be like, if you were messing with a 170, you're going to get like the parts from that perform like a 017, the outdated stuff. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some that really get it done, but I've never really used one myself, so I can't really say that they're good or not. I don't see why they wouldn't be though. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, did you switch out the? No, if you're asking me, I always use they don't make a yellow chain for the 150. They don't make a 1/4 inch Pico chain. Those are meant, I think, for like pole saws. Like all the pole saws have the same kind of bar and chain on them. And if you notice, your pole saw really, it'll rip through, if it's a good chain and your pole saw is working correct, those things will really rip through you know, through a limb pretty good. So that's the same bar, same same oiler positioning, same chain. So I mean, I use it all the time, and I have no issue. Like, I think my stuff cuts pretty good. I don't feel like switching to a Panther bar and chain would make, maybe it would make a little bit of difference on the cut, but I don't really see how it would. And plus, like I wouldn't mind trying one of the chains, but I've heard too much bad stuff about the bars not lasting. You know, I've used the same bar on that saw since I got it. It's never been replaced. It's the factory one that came with it that Mike gave me. So I feel like if you take care of it, you don't have to replace that stuff. And from what I'm hearing, if it was a Panther bar, it definitely wouldn't have lasted maybe even a 1/4 of the time that one has. So I don't know. And I think also it's going to depend on what you're doing. A lot of crane work, saws get pinched a lot, and I've asked this question multiple times, mainly to August, that, like, did you find, I think exactly the question was, like, how has it been switching over to a crane? Do you find that your guys mess up, you know, do bars get messed up quicker? Because I always see them getting in a bind when you go to cut, your bar's pinched. And I've asked that question multiple times. I just don't know that I've ever gotten an answer, but I would imagine it's going to depend on your work too. So I've seen where they work really good. I've seen where they're not too hot. That's kind of a Switzerland subject. You really, unless you've used them, you kind of got to stay in the middle, because I've always been the type that, you know, I feel like you get what you pay for. So that's why I've always went with steel and used those products. That's what my dad did. That's what he always told me, use a good product. He used those, so I use them. I say all this as I'm hugging a Husqvarna, but yeah, it could be amazing though. It's definitely worth the try, I would think. You know, if you don't have the money to try the other one and you need one, it allows you to get a much bigger saw for a smaller amount of money. So anytime something like that can happen, that's kind of cool. I can't hate on that. Ground pounder, you just take them safety chains and throw them in the garbage? That's funny, because that's what I worked for a guy it was many years ago, and I'm still using chains that I got from that guy. I'm still using the chains he threw away. He would use a 144 link 660 chain for a 36-inch bar, and he would, or is it 114? Maybe 114. But like I said, I haven't had to buy one in a very long time. I had a bucket of them, and I don't know if I've ever had to buy a chain for my 660. I've always used his junk ones that he considered junk, and what they were is they got put on. The guys would hit the dirt or something, you know, who knows what exactly, but they would dull them, and he would say it's worth more to just throw it in the, like, it's more profitable to take that chain and throw it in the trash as opposed to sharpen it and just put a new one on. And then when it comes time to, like, when guys started just not caring, because that's what you're basically telling new guys is it doesn't matter. If you dull one, it's okay. I got tons of new ones. So the guys would just dull them instantly and just go get fistfuls of new chains all the time. Why not? And he would find himself running out of chains very, very, very fast. So the green chain is just what. Yeah, yeah, and that's they're supposed to be to prevent kickback. But if you've ever used one before, you'll notice they get in a weird bind and they'll stop cutting if you're not like perfectly even on your cut. It'll like act like it's in a bind, like you got a bent bar, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't understand why it does that, and you definitely aren't getting it to do a good plunge cut very good. So I always just call them the homeowner chains because it's, for homeowners to keep the kickback from happening. So, oh, is Turbo here? Dang, I didn't even. What's up, Turbo? BTS, what's going on? I bought a clone 660 with a 36-inch bar. Cool. How'd you like it? Hey, Mike's got one actually. I think I seen Mike in the comments. He's got one of the clone older steel saws. I think it's like a shoot. I don't even know what kind of saw it is. It's one of the old heavy duty ones though, but it's a clone. Can't compare since I never used a steel 660. Well, here's another opinion I have about it. I would guess, if I was guessing, um, I've noticed that steel dealers, when they sell a product, they will sell that product with it adjusted out, very rich. So when something is rich, it's getting more air than it is, or hang on, it's getting the wrong combination of air to gas, okay? So they're burning it rich, which makes it bog down and kind of run sluggish. So then when you run it lean, you're making the combustion even more of that combination there. So you don't want it to be running too lean because it'll burn the saw up because it runs really hot. So I think that when you're buying a clone, they are gonna, just like the steel dealership would, but they're even gonna go another step further to adjusting it to the rich side because they don't want it to blow up. So I think a lot of times I notice that they go out and those clones get sent out and they're adjusted completely wrong. And you can have a guy that really knows how to adjust the saw out real good, and he can turn it into a screaming machine. So check all the screws. Yeah, yeah, Billy, absolutely. Because I mean, heck, I think the last time when I bought that that 12-foot stationary pole saw, um, I think the like nut locks and stuff were like loose on it, and I had to tighten them because they almost fell off right when I got it. So, and that's from a steel dealership. So I couldn't imagine buying a lesser product. It's going to be even more. And then you just got to think of those kind of machines. You probably need to. I've heard of people like losing the air filter cover because it rattles off, or losing the nuts or whatever, the bar nuts. But that's a machine that's rattling and shaking and getting slammed around all the time, so things get loose. So I think anytime you're dealing with a saw, and if you like that saw and you want to have it for a long time, you're going to have to do regular maintenance. So that's the only way I've ever figured out how to keep them. 070, yep, 070 clone, just 36-inch bar. Is your MS-150 ported? No, it isn't. No, it's just a straight saw. But I'm telling you, the saws come air restricted now. They are purposely air restricted. They can't get enough blowback and like air into the exhaust chamber. Like it holds pressure in there, I feel like, and that kills the combustion for the next time every time. So like too much in the exhaust to where the air can't escape causes like a, what I would think would almost be like a back pull that prevents a better combustion. So if you're able to let that air out as it every time and shoots that air, the saw can run a lot better. So they come really restricted. It seemed very, very sluggish at first, and I opened the exhaust ports up, took the muffler off, opened the exhaust ports, and total different saw. Total different saw. I've heard guys say, well, I did a muffler mod, this, that. On some saws, I don't think it really is that big of a deal. But for that saw, and I imagine for a lot of new saws, that can make a huge difference because they're they're just wanting it to last, and they have so many emissions and stuff made onto them now that actually take away from performance. So that's all is just straight stock factory. I adjusted it out um, and opened up the exhaust, and I'm telling you, it went from being a very sluggish, kind of weakish saw to a screaming machine, dude. I'm telling you, it's a total different sorry about that. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you guys are still here because I just got a phone call, but I'm gonna have to try to make this quick so I can call him back. But I think Panther's making a new bar, but have not heard if it is any better. Yeah, right on. August says quarter-inch Panther chain don't last long. See, that's weird to me. Why? I don't know that. You can see those two. Yeah, ground pounder. I've got still chain. That saw's right on. Deer season here. I put them on the truck. They both sit. I stocked up on chains last year and probably still have 2 years worth of chains. Oh, that's so awesome. Only steel chains. That's cool. You're not my master. Right on. I dig your moniker. That's pretty cool. My steel 021 still runs like a champ. I use it all the time as my limb saw on the ground. I did a small job on it and the muffler. Everything sounds like a yeah, yeah. If you don't remove those spark arresters, um, the way the two-cycle saws work, it spits out a lot of carbon out the muffler, and it clogs that little screen up. So if it can't, there's like what I'm saying, that I feel like these saws are coming out and they're too restricted. If you leave that spark arrestor in there, it's just a screen. Every saw has it somewhere in it. If you leave that screen in there, it just filters air. So pieces like carbon comes through and it starts to clog it. And before you know it, it'll let no air out because it is totally coated in carbon and has blocked the screen. So if you remove that, sometimes I've seen where guys will just take a lighter and burn them, get them hot, and if carbon burns off, knock it off, put it back in there. But I just take them out and allowing the air to escape instead of staying trapped in that chamber on the backside of where a piston's trying to do its job is just, to me, silly, you know? So I may be wrong about that. I am definitely not a mechanic, but I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on how a chainsaw works and that's just my personal opinion on it. After groundies, I file all chains until they cannot be used. Me too, ground pounder, me too. My ground guys cannot sharpen saws. Well, if you got them this tool, they would. So just go get them this, and a monkey can use this. So they make both sizes. This is for a big saw. Get the next one, and I assure you, they could do it. The guy that I got giving me a hand has yet to even. It's been like weeks of him working, and he still has yet to even start a chainsaw. I don't even know if he can run one. So that freaks me out. So like on any of the stuff you see, like I have a guy that's just green as a gourd, and he's doing his best, and it's sketchy. I think it should be a requirement to be able to sharpen your own saw. That would be nice. That would limit a lot of knuckleheads having chainsaws. I do 95% of all cutting and groundies, clean up, feed. Right on, ground pounder. Steel dealer will not work on clones in my neck of the woods. The dealers will get in trouble if they do. Really? Well, a lot of like places. I'm in Podunkville, so if it's a hardware store and they have a small engine person that will do stuff. Yeah. I see what you're saying though. Stop. Lay down. Let's go knock that guy's head if he don't sit down. Sit down now. Scary. I'm gonna hit you with this stick.
Monster.
Lay down now. Dude's a freak. I can't find a reputable shop near me. I've had problems with them all. Yeah, I know. I took one saw one time to a dealership and told them to replace the carb because I was in the middle of I was in the middle of falling a top, and I made my notch on the back, and I went to cut the backside, and they pulled before I told them to pull. I wanted to cut and get my saw out, but what happened was that the wood was really dry, and it acted like a snap cut, and it pinched my bar in there. So I'm holding on to it, and I just got my 200T running, and it yanked it out of my hands. It went all the way to the ground, hit the ground. It did something and messed up the carb, and it wouldn't run. So they replaced the carb, and it came back as just like weak as hell. Lay
down.
Better lay down. We'll throw one of these cones at you. Ground powder, if you was in my neck of the woods, my shop would be. Oh, dude, oh yeah, that would be sweet. I'm not a wasteful person, like dude, I'm telling you, we are very similar. We are very, very similar. But I don't feel like anybody ever wants to hear about this stuff. I don't want to tell that stuff. I feel like people do that to get, like, people to feel sorry for them. And that's the last thing I ever want. I don't care if I'm on my deathbed. I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me. I did it till 194 and it woke it up crazy. See? Isn't that wild? And that's that new saws. They're doing too much to restrict them and quiet them and meet admissions that it's jacking the performance. At this point, little shop mechanic, ship it. They frown on us for taking the screen down. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? Put the screw back in. They wouldn't know any better. Pop the screen out, throw it away, put the screw back in. How are they gonna know? They're gonna have to take that out and check it. Ooh, it must have rattled itself out, but you put the screw back in. Usually it's got a little screw that holds it on, and just pop it out. Put the screw back in. A lot of times I leave the screw off because that's an additional little hole and port to let the air go out. Have 3 cases of 5-gallon mix for my saws and probably 100. Dang. John, what's up, man? Yeah, I made it. I made it. I know. He's a little jerk. He needs to shut up. barks too damn loud. Yeah, that's scary, you guys with saws, especially if they've been around a long time. And watch them. I started one. Yeah, this is the funny part. They're like, yeah, I've ran saws before, no big deal. And they grab the saw, okay? And all of a sudden, you ask them beforehand, you're like, are you left-handed or right? I'm right-handed. And they still try to start it with their left hand. And yank it. And I'm like, oh my god, no. No, 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 no. The steel ropes on the shop and they see a clone, they can. What? You want to know why that is? I'll tell you why that is. Because during World War, was it 2? We were, I don't know, whichever one's Germany. So we're at war with them, and during the war, all of the lay down, all of the trademarks and stuff that they have on their chainsaws become null and void. They no longer exist. All their patents are now free for anybody to look at and free for people to duplicate because we're at war with them at the time. It's in that steel book that I was telling you guys about if you like this kind of stuff to buy that book. But yeah, during World War, that's when all this happened. That's when you had a bunch of saw companies pop up and say, hey, you know, steel ain't above us now. We're right on their level because you basically took all their stuff and they were so superior at the time. Everyone else just quickly was at the same level, and that was because of the war stuff. I could see them doing something like that. But just find a small engine guy. I mean, look for a guy that. This is what I do. I look for guys that work on lawnmowers and stuff. After you find them guys that work on lawnmowers, find out if they know how to work on a chainsaw, and then try them out. But nowadays, it may be easier to ship a saw. Find a couple good guys that are good at it. There's a couple on Bucket messes with a couple of them. I'm trying to think of one of them's name. Tin Man, maybe? And then there is, dang, what is the other guy? Iron Horse. Iron Horse. If you go watch his YouTube channel, look up Iron Horse Chainsaws or something. But he works on chainsaws, and maybe he could give you a hand with it or something. I don't know. But it's definitely worth, you know, because you could see a guy on the internet, check him out, see what he's doing, how he's working everything, and then you know he has a little bit of an established like name, and he maybe has something to lose, and you don't have to worry about him as much. Make sure he's been doing this for a while, and you can trust him, and other people use him. But those are the two that I know of. I think it's, I don't know if it's, is it Tin Man or, dang, I can't remember the other guy's name. He's got a YouTube channel, and I think it does pretty good. I'm telling you, I can feel the chamber on this saw, the bar guide, is full of sawdust. And I guarantee you that's why the saws are like crap. It just seems so weak. No, I gave him one, I think.
Okay, and I gave him one this morning. I'll give him a third one, but if he's already had
There's 2 left, right?
I think so.
Then yeah, there.
I said I wasn't going to give him one. He got mad and barked at me.
Jesus. You should see the amount of treats that damn dog goes through. It's ridiculous. And he comes in and he has to have, like, he comes in and she has bottles that we put in the fridge of water that we keep cold, and he has to have like water poured into a bowl, fresh water, because he's so big. He like takes a drink out of it and slobbers all in it, and then it's all nasty afterwards. Like only half of it makes it in the dude's mouth, the rest of it's on my floor. I'm like always drying up water. But yeah, sharpening a saw is tough. Anybody that can't sharpen a saw, I get why they can't. It's a very weird thing to where you have to have a very steady hand and a very repetitive steady hand. So I get it when people have trouble with it. A steel rep goes into a shop and they see, okay, yeah. John, you doing good today? Yeah, John, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, got that skeeter. Oh no, I didn't. There he was. I keep seeing him like in between the camera. They're doing this, just getting ready to have this hurricane fight. Oh man, hopefully it just rolls on by, unless it's something. Because I know a lot of guys really make their living in tree work off of these things. So I mean, I don't want to talk down about that because a lot of guys, this is their happy day, which I have. Ah, it's definitely not something I ever look forward to. I hate seeing like natural disasters and like a bunch of where it's like a ridiculous amount of tree work and everyone needs help and you're like, I can't. I don't like that stuff. I get why some guys get all psyched on it because heck, they're about to go clean up and make an arm and a leg, but I try not to put myself in them situations because I'm that guy that's like feel bad for them and now I'm trying to like help them out while the next guy's coming in and robbing them. I do it to my detriment. It's like, ugh. It's all good, bro. Just right on. I'm doing okay, Billy. Thanks, bro. Oh, Turbo, your name's John? Right on. A husky. A husky going off a bridge. That sounds right. I mean, like, okay. When I was very young and I started using saws and stuff, my dad had a lot of different saws. I don't think Husqvarna ever made it in the lineup. Ever. Well, maybe it did one at some point. I can't ever remember it though. But I know that it was always steel products. We would get Johnson Red sometimes, which were like some ripping saws. And I think there was even McCullough at points. And also, what was Poland. My dad had two of those, and I don't know if any of you, if you've done tree work or messed with trees for any length of time, or if you maybe a farmhand that's ever cut firewood. Poland used to make a saw called the Wild Thing, and my dad had a couple of those, and those were crazy good saws. But Husqvarna really never made it into the lineup. It just, I don't know. Oh, and there was echoes sometimes. I think some echoes, but not much. I think there was another one. I'm trying to remember what it was too. It's got me like now I'm starting to get aggravated because I can't think of it. It's like on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, that's what's crazy. When I got into tree work at the end, like, or really at the beginning, and started messing with it, everyone's like tripping out, and I'm like watching people buy 200 tees on the internet, and they're spending $200 or like $200. What am I talking about? I've seen them going for like $1,000, and I was mind blown. I was like, what? 200 tees are going for what? And maybe they probably weren't going for that originally. They were originally, I think they were going for like, I think when I first started seeing it, they were going for like 600 though. And I had seen one go for 600, and I was like, no way. And the dude bought it without questioning it. And I was like, dang. So I immediately ran back to my dad and was like, yo, you got any of your old saws? And I pulled two 200 Ts out. I was like, yeah, here. Took them. One of them ran after I used parts from the other one. So I still have a whole. No, actually, I got rid of that body kit. And then I bought another 200T from a logger down south out of like Black, Missouri. And he sold me his 200T and that 066. So was stoked on that. That was like that was the biggest haul. I was stoked. That was the log saw that I really wanted, and the best of the best when it come to a top handle. So I was stoked. It's a 290. Hope everyone stays safe in the hurricane. Yeah, 100%, man. Donnie Walker. Donnie Walker. No, there's the heavier set guy that originally built the saws for bucking. Yeah, but there is Donnie Walker. Is that the guy that does August stuff? Because I thought that he stopped doing it and he retired. But nowadays there's so much info out there on the internet that you could easily just start looking the stuff up and try to do it on your own and see how it works out. We're gonna run this until we go dark, and we're just gonna shut it off, and that'll be that. We got 7 thumbs. You guys gotta like the subscribe button. Don't forget, because now that's what YouTubers do, right? Like I refuse. I'm gonna purposely say it wrong, always, because it drives me nuts. Like it's not. It doesn't even drive. It cringes me out every time I see a YouTuber say, yeah, and if you like this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And like, I'm pretty sure you guys know that if you enjoy the stuff, you should subscribe. And maybe if you like the video, maybe you should hit the like button. Do you really have to have me tell you? So, no, I'm not like dyslexic. I'm purposely gonna say it wrong so that I can get that yahoo who feels the need to correct me, who randomly watches, which 82% of my views is non-subscribers. So, or maybe it's higher than 88% or something. It's something crazy. What book? When I was getting my steel certification, they told all shops there that would happen. Dang. Honest Custom Saws put out some crazy stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was 10 Man and Iron Hordes. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, he's a heavier set guy, wears a ball cap, forward ball cap all the time. Beard, I think. Um, so I think I'm talking. I think it's the right guy. YouTube channel. Yeah, Iron Horse has about quit. Really? Right on. I will work on your stuff. I took the file to tonight. It's all Saturday. Dang. Yeah, my hand would definitely go numb if I had to do that many insurance. Pays a lot for tree work after 20. Yeah, yeah, it does. And that's the part that I get why guys do it, because the insurance is paying. It's not like you're doing it to the homeowner, but shit falls downhill. So eventually the homeowner has to deal with some of that, but I guess that's why you have insurance. Might as well use it. Hand went numb twice. That's awesome. I'll help out anybody I can, but I am not a professional arborist. That's cool. I mean, at least like I just had a guy call me the other day, and he's like, Yeah, I was gonna see if you need, you know anybody that needs any tree work, somebody to do tree work for them. I'm an arborist, a local arborist. And I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. Um, are you local, like here, around here? Yeah, yeah. I said, oh. So, are you a certified arborist? Or, no, what? I mean, I'm not certified, but I'm an arborist. I said, oh, okay, right on. So apparently he's just a tree climber, tree cutter, whatever you want to call somebody who's done tree work before. But he even said, he's like, I would prefer to stay on the ground. He's like, but every time I work for a company, they end up trying to put me up in the air. So, yeah, mine, I think it probably has a lot to do with mine too, Billy, is arthritis. Right on, Turbo. I try my best to remember that. But there's so many other Johns, I'll just keep calling you Turbo. Well, that guy forgot to have a bed on his truck. That was wild. I have a Husky bike. 372, my first professional grade saw. That's probably a ripper. My neighbor's got a 372. And I told him, I was like, hey, you ever get rid of that saw and you don't want it, let me know. That's it's like the square topped one too, the flat topped or the bump top. Like it's the older version, the crazy one. So that's what I said. Hit me up.
Lay down, I'll be in a second.
That's when I started off. It was home light. Yeah, yeah, we had home lights too. Poland is now Husky made. I started with 16-inch Poland. Yeah, I think Johnson Red is now. Huh. Johnson Red still may be a company actually. Or they moved over with somebody, and that's the other one I was trying to think of. But I can't remember. Maybe Makita bought out Johnson Red. So like, I used a Makita chainsaw that I had to like rent from the rental store one time, and it was insane. It was a good saw. It was a really good saw. Before that was a Johnson Red, and it was a really good saw. So yeah, there's a lot of good saws out there. Husky on 700 brands now. Yeah, I could see that. For over 20 years. That is cool. My father-in-law had an old Poland bow saw. Very heavy saw. That's cool. My 372 has been a real warrior, honestly. That's that's just kind of the way them saws are. I mean, I have like as much as I'm not the biggest fan of a Farm Boss 290, my 290 Farm Boss has just been a cinder block of just constant being able to depend on it. It's always there. It's heavy. It's very boxy. That's all. Just runs. So there's good saws. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. You just gotta really, really take care of them. And Domar, that's it. That's the other one I was trying to think of, Billy. You're the man. And I can get that shit out of my head. Yeah, Domar is Makita. Awesome. See? Dang, you're the man. That would have bugged me for so long. I'd have been on Google here in a second. Well, you guys, I can't even see myself, guys. I'm gonna catch up on your comments. 272 is damn good saw. Good evening, gentlemen. JC, what's going on? I seen the first part of your pine video with the dead pine. Good job. Dolmar, dang man, I would have read that a long time ago. I wouldn't have this headache I got right now. Fire up the husky. Yeah. Peter bought it from Husky. Love that 200 team. Iron Horse is a big guy. Bellhopper. Yeah, Bellhopper does some cool stuff. Dang, am I this far behind on... No, okay, I thought it was really, really far behind. Getting dark, you have a great evening. Yeah, hey, guys, I'm gonna do the same thing. The Stalking still might. I don't think I ever told you my name. Really, all good. Yeah, yeah, JC, keep it up. Been fun watching you kind of figure out the YouTube thing and getting it done. So I uh, I like it because I like looking to see like because you can see that you can influence other channels, you know, with the way you do things. Like I'm sure there's things that you'll see on other tree channels that you'll see on mine, and it's like either we're just very like-minded or you get the idea from people. So, you know, keep a group of guys, you know, a group that you enjoy and share ideas and build a bunch of channels. So, guys, it's pitch dark. You can't even see me. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it, like always. I will work on a new one for you guys, and I'll get it out as quick as I can, okay? So, you guys, thanks. Stay safe. And, dang, William, you come sliding in. What's up, man? I will catch you guys on the next one, alright? I apologize if I didn't answer anything, and William, I apologize for ending this, and JC, you too. Try to catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe.